Adele, thank you for being with us this morning. Lovely to chat with you. We're talking about something I love on the Isle of Man, secret gardens, and this time we're heading out west to Peel. So what is happening?
So on the 15th and 16th of July, we're having 22 gardens open to the public from 11 to 4 p.m.
22 gardens. How are these gardens located and how do they end up being part of this?
Well, we open it up to people who would like to volunteer. And initially we just had one or two and we thought, oh, maybe it won't happen this year because it actually hasn't happened for 5 years because of COVID and one thing and another. So 2018 was the last one. And suddenly all these people volunteered and it just came together really well. So we were so excited that it was going to be able to take place.
So if you've been before, there is going to be more to see. So there'll be some gardens that you may not have seen before.
Definitely.
Okay, and what are some of the ones is there anything you can tell us about to give us a little tease of what we can expect?
Oh gosh, each one has so much something unique to offer. But I was looking back in history really, and looking back to the first secret gardens, and which took place in 1996. And I was noticing there's even some gardens that were in then and there are in today, but obviously 1996, not many people will have been to the ones in 1996.
No.
So I think there's a lot of history as well, because I think one of the gardens has steps that date back to 150 years, and it used to be an old brewery. And I remember going to this one garden, and you'd go around the back, and then suddenly there's this lake in the garden. And I think, where did that come from? I never even knew it existed, and you couldn't see it from the road. It's well hidden. It's a true secret garden because you couldn't see anything.
This is the brilliant thing about secret gardens, and obviously there are different areas of the island where you can do this, but it's that notion that you're getting a sort of preview of something, like you said, that you would never normally see. And people are now very much into their gardens, very much. People seem to spend a lot more time in them and on them as well. So I'm sure that although some of them have been in the sort of running order for many years, that they will have changed quite a lot as well over the years.
Oh, definitely. And the amount of work, like you say, that goes into them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had to visit them all in order to produce help produce the brochure, and there was some amazing amount of floral and the colours that will obviously come out, but they tell me how it will be, and it's just the amount of work that's gone into it, and little ponds and little paths that go round, and it's just amazing. It's just we got involved because we went to Peel Secret Gardens quite a few years from when we've been living in Peel, and we just loved it so much, and we thought, yeah, we'd love to get involved because there's nothing nicer than just having a relaxing stroll around. You never know what you're going to find. And then of course there's all the other things that Peel has to offer in terms of eateries and beautiful places just to stop and relax and so on. So
you can make a day of it.
Exactly. There's going to be a market in the square, so there's lots of things to look at there. That will be the hub as well, so you can pick up brochures. There's brochures in the gardens themselves if you haven't managed to get one before. And there's going to be Philby's on the promenade, so you can go down. If you've worn yourself out going around a few gardens, go and have a rest and have a bite to eat at Philby's or any of the others eateries that are there in Peel.
This is wonderful. So essentially the whole city's getting involved.
Exactly. And there's going to be yarn bombing apparently. So Michael Street will be hopefully transformed because you'll be seeing all sorts of things that you never normally would see.
Oh, that's brilliant. And you mentioned as well that some of the gardens have a historical element to them. So people that get to go around the gardens, will they be able to find out about these different elements in the gardens?
Yes, most of the gardens will have the gardeners themselves there, and they'll be available to answer any questions and have a little chat to the people visiting. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer any questions. And
so you might get some good inspiration for your own gardens as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes, some really good ideas, especially for plants that work well in certain soils or certain types of weather. What's actually been thriving in that situation? Yeah.
The cathedral gardens, are they going to be sort of like part of this as well?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's even a little map. A plan of the gardens in the brochure. So if you wanted to follow it and just have a look at what was what and what there is to see, that's in there as well. And there's a QR code, I believe, with the cathedral gardens.
Oh, that's very modern.
Yeah. So you can actually listen to the history of what's happened through that. So that'll be quite fun to do as well.
So we know there's refreshments out and about around the town, around the city, but also actually in the garden. Some of the gardeners themselves actually put on refreshments for people, don't they?
Yes, that's always a nice surprise when you enter a garden and you suddenly find there's this beautiful setup where you can have just a cup of tea and relax. And one of the gardens is doing it to raise money for Housing Matters. So that's a great cause. And I think another one might be supporting the trust as well. So yes, there's lots of opportunities within the gardens too.
So there's so much going on. So it's not just a case of going and having a look at some shrubs. There's lots and lots to see and lots to do. You can really make a day of it, as we said, which sounds lovely.
Absolutely.
So just remind us again the date that this is happening then.
15th and 16th of July.
And you need to get the brochures. So where can people get hold of the brochures?
Yes, and the brochure acts like a ticket.
I see.
So it's £5 per adult and children go free. So you can get those. You'll be able to get those from the gardens themselves, obviously, but there are other places which will have them, like Kirby Garden Centre will be selling them, the Welcome Centre, Greens Cafe, Celtic Gold, and many other outlets as well. So, yeah. You shouldn't have any problem getting hold of one.
I mean, I'm going to ask you the very difficult question, Adele. What's your favourite so far from the gardens you've seen?
I find there's one that's got absolutely, it's just been so loved and has so many different varieties of plants and flowers in it that actually I'm so looking forward to going back to it, because when I saw it even... I was going around them in about February, so January, February, so it's like freezing and there was hardly anything out, but it still was beautiful. But the amount of colour and beauty that's going to be there when it's July, I'm just so looking forward to that.
And I have one of the brochures in my hands here, Adele. I mean, it's a beautiful brochure anyway. It is loads of information about the gardens. As we mentioned, the map in there is extremely useful. It gives a garden sequence suggestion in here too. But I have to say as well, the front of it is beautiful. There's a lovely work of art on the front of the brochure.
Yes, Susie Heckles has done that. And it's actually going to be auctioned at some point as well, the actual original. And it's based loosely, I think, on the cathedral garden.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a lovely watercolour. So if you're looking for the brochure, you'll be easily spot it because it has that lovely watercolour on the front of it as well by Susie. So it's a nice piece to hold on to and keep forever.
It is. It's beautiful.
It's quite an effort to make these things happen, though, isn't it, Adele? And I'm sure you've had a number of people all working together to pull this together.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a committee. We've got about 4 or 5 on the committee, and Ray and I have been heading it up. And Nikki Sperrin has been fantastic. She's done a lot of work to help put the brochure together and get it printed, and we've been relying on those like Nikki who've had lots of experience because they've been doing it for a long time. And so we've also had help from Tony and Ellie and Vori from the commissioners. So yeah, it's been really good team, and we're open to any more help on the day because we really are in an unknown situation as how many hands on deck we're going to need. So
if someone is listening and they think they can help, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, Adele?
Can I give you my email address? Would that be possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's Adele, adele.h.harmer@gmail.com.
So keep a lookout for the brochures, and the brochure is your ticket, so make sure you have one of those so you can gain access to these wonderful gardens. Many thanks, Adele.
Oh, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.